The following podcast is a part of RadioMisfits.com. And now it's time for the Mr. Nailsin Show.
Well, a strange thing happened this week. Perhaps you heard about it. Yes, Donald Trump is going to be president again because he won the election. Now, I expected, because I'm a expect the worst, hope for the best type guy. Well, I got the best possible outcome in this. Because some things that I expected didn't occur. I thought by now we'd be hearing the lawsuits, and we may still, but so far it doesn't appear to be the case. The Harris campaign, but didn't concede election night, but did send one of their guys out to say, hey, we just want to make sure everyone's vote is counted. And I thought, because there was a Supreme Court ruling that you can't keep counting ballots after Election Day. And I could, there was reporters outside one of the polling places in Pennsylvania where these truckloads of ballots were coming in with 8 minutes left on the clock. Now, I don't know what the stipulation would be, but I guess if they got on the property, they would still count those. So perhaps they did. I don't know. Wasn't enough. So there were things like that where, obviously there was no lockdowns. There was no COVID or anything like that this time around. So it was not the same election day the way it was 4 years ago. And so a certain amount of shenanigans could not occur. Being suspicious of it all and suspicion of a stolen election, I well understand. But going into fraudulent ballots and whatnot, which I would always be suspicious of, but you don't even need to, because you had the battleground states violate their election laws. The remedy to it would have been that those electors are now invalid, which would mean those states would not be a part of the Electoral College. And, of course, nobody had the balls to obey the law on that. And that's the kind of thing that's just going to stay there even as we go forward. It wasn't necessary this time around. But another thing that gave me great pause was a lot of these same battleground states saying, hey, look, don't expect us to get the result of election night. Don't expect it to be called. And even in 2020, you had California, Florida, Texas, and New York. They had their count done that night. These are the most populous states in the Union, and they were able to count those votes. So people claiming they just can't get the count done, that it's never going to pass the smell test. But whatever, didn't occur this time, and I suspect, and it, by all accounts, the turnout was greater, and the Republicans learned a lot. There was quite a few, well, I guess, new Republicans, if you will. The old establishment is done, and the idea of recognizing, the game plans of the Democrats, who always had a better one for decades, and in some cases seemed quite unseemly, ballot harvesting and the like. But they made it legal. And so you better do the same. So appears that's what happened, especially in the battleground states, most notably Pennsylvania. There was quite a few who went out there, and we got to go out and make our case and get people to fill out the ballots. And so it looks like they did. And then, of course, they were saying, hey, the groundwork that, or the inroads, if you will, that Trump was able to make with Black and Latino areas, well, figure it out. These 4 years have been horrible. And these guys are probably in a lot of cases more impacted than others. And with the open borders policy and the massive hit they had to take, you weren't going to be able to smooth that over. And pretending it wasn't there wasn't going to work either, because they actually lived there. So it didn't matter what Pollyannish or just flat out lying any publications or officials would say about it. So it's not hard to figure out when it comes to these sort of things. And overall, by now, if anyone hasn't figured this out, that the old standards of the Democratic Party of being the labor movement being their backbone, really, for decades, has been completely abandoned. It's hard to keep a straight face when people, well, Trump's just getting in to give tax cuts to his billionaire friends. All two of them, the billionaire class is Democrat. You just go down the list, and then the corporate America, Democrat, pushing ESG, DEI, and all that. And it all came crashing down. In a lot of ways, it's odd and it's very strange, but life works out that way. It appears COVID really exposed an awful lot. We were forced to mask up, but their masks came off and you saw it. 2020 was aptly named. It was very stark, and the damage will linger for a very long time, because the Herculean task it would be to restore our shattered institutions. People obviously they don't trust the press. They don't trust government. They don't even really trust the military at this point. Certainly not the Pentagon. FBI, forget it. And now our medical institutions, you don't even trust that anymore. So it's a deep and bad wound. And in quite a few of these instances, some people do need to go to jail. These scams of preying upon children and troubled children and mental illness to get them to mutilate themselves for ostensibly for a political movement, and then to come to find out the profit that can be made on a lifelong subscription to hormone injections and the like, is beyond Frankenstein evil. And all aided with tax dollars, of course. So in situations like that, plus the lawfare that was done, just desecrating any respect to law, because if the law doesn't apply to everyone equally, then there really isn't one. So this business of, forgive and forget and move on. No, this is way too much damage. So quite a few people have to be prosecuted for what they did. And a lot are going to get away with it. But if you don't, then what was all this for? So we'll see how this plays out. And we do live in interesting times one way or the other. But we were really on the precipice here. We had just a senile corpse for a president. We haven't had a president for 4 years now. Then they realized, switch him out and put in this blithering idiot. Which just goes to show you, in the old days, a lot of the Democratic Party were crooks and all that. But they weren't that stupid. Of course, you look at the crazy purple-haired TikTok ladies, and now they're all melting down again, and all that stuff, and everyone's having a good laugh. But the problem is that appears to be the mindset of the people in charge. But it's literally like you go to the plane cabin and open the door, and there's no one piloting the plane. And so that's how it's been. And sure, it explains a lot, but good Lord. So these are basically just, the spoiled, rotten grandkids of the old dead masterminds, and they don't have anywhere near the intellect and talent that, albeit corrupt and nasty, those guys were. But they just weren't that stupid, and they weren't that crazy. And yeah, I know, similar to last time. Yeah, but Trump? Come on. Yeah, Trump. Yeah. You need someone with managerial skill. It's always thought it. And he's got it. And that's where you go. And you say, hey, why Trump? He's such a boastful guy. He's an asshole and all this stuff. And because it's that bad. And there was no other option. And this time around, he's a bit wiser to how Washington, D.C. works. Because we can talk about Democrats all day long, but quite a few of Republicans supposed to be on his side were waiting and ready with the knives. This time around, well, yeah. And of course, he nearly lost his life this time around. Twice. So it's a bit of a different ball game. And, well, yes, it is interesting times. And, certainly we'll be watching it. Whether I'll go back to doing political stuff on this show, I don't know. I'm, exhausted all the time. So I'm able to cobble together bits and pieces here for a show like Nailsin News primarily. And then, of course, the audio plays, which I see as the backbone of the Mr. Nailsin show. So I don't know. I just, the whole era broke me of my interest because I was always a news and political junkie. But man, the insanity that's unfolded over the past well over, maybe not quite 10 years, but getting there. It just got to be too much, and doing Red and Lefty and all that. I don't know. I just don't know, but, I thought I would opine upon the situation because it just happened. But, that's all there is, for the moment. And, we'll continue on with, yes, you guessed it, more Nailsin Knows. And a new episode of The Cruise.
You're listening to the Mr. Nailsin Show here on RadioMisfits.com. This is a Nailsin News Bulletin.
A Florida woman is behind bars after enlisting a child to help her conduct a serious and seriously expensive bout of shoplifting at a Target. Hello, I'm Mr. Nailsin. Elizabeth Novak, 23, stands accused of one count each of grand theft larceny over $750, but less than $5,000, and contributing to the delinquency of a minor by causing a child to commit an act of delinquency. The odd, striking, and memorable nature of the alleged crime appears to have led to her arrest several days after the fact. On October 12th, police responded to a Target on Northeast Pine Island Road in Cape Coral, a large city near Florida's western coast, and the principal municipality of the broader Fort Myers metro area, with the distinction of more navigable waterways than any other city on the planet. But the defendant is alleged to have committed her crimes on foot. The store in question reported a theft estimated at $1,111 that was committed the day before, according to a press release. Target employees told responding officers the alleged theft was an unknown woman who came into the store with a child under the age of 10. Loss prevention provided video footage documenting the female loading a cart up with merchandise, giving the cart to the child, and using the child to walk out of the store with a cart full of merchandise. 2 big-ticket items were a barista machine and a vacuum cleaner. An investigation ensued, and the woman's picture was sent around to various other members of law enforcement. In response to a complaint about a woman panhandling, an officer allegedly recognized the panhandler as the same woman wanted in the target theft investigation. Novak was subsequently identified and arrested. The investigation revealed that Novak loaded the cart with merchandise. Prior to briefly separating from the child, Novak was seen pointing toward the exit doors and intentionally having the child leave the store with the shopping cart without attempting to pay. She followed the child a few minutes later. Police did not say what relation, if any, the child has to the defendant. Novak remains detained in the Lee County Jail on a combined $15,000 bond. She's not going to be able to make that. A formal case against Novak had yet to appear on the Lee County court system's public docket at press time. Well, is there anything more cowardly than hiding behind a child? You'd be hard-pressed to find other examples, but it's too bad because this chick really is kind of cute, you know? But I suspect meth and perhaps other narcotics are at the root of all this. And, of course, the wages of meth is, you know, by the time you're 25, you look like a 63-year-old toothless, shriveled prune.
This has been a Nailsin News Bulletin. This is your ass. This is your ass in prison. Any questions? This has been a public service announcement reminding you that if you do the crime, you will do the time. Hard time.
A horse is a horse, of course, and a horse has needs, of course, especially when that horse is Mr. Sex Ed.
Hey, Will.
Oh, hey, Mr. Sex Ed. You know, I still can't get over the fact that you're a talking horse. How'd you ever learn to talk?
It all started when your wife introduced me to peanut butter. Well, hey, never mind that. Listen, I need you to do a little favor. I got some pebbles up my sheath.
Oh, I don't know.
God damn it, don't go belly aching on me, boy. You're going to sit there in the lap of luxury and leave a poor, helpless animal out here to suffer?
All right, Mr. Ed. All right.
Oh.
Let's see here. Not really finding anything.
Keep looking.
What's that smell?
Well, that's the smell of pleasure, Wilbur. All right. Now, fondle my sack.
What? Why would it...
Just do it. There we go. Yeah.
Nasty. Oh, it's all over me.
Now, Wilbur, you just stop all that teary-eyed belly aching. You knew what this was. I mean, what kind of a man moves his office into the barn while I'm over here taking a shit? You were looking for some action here, and now you got it, bitch.
God, I gotta go clean up.
Wilbur.
Hey there.
Well, hello, Mr. Sex Ed.
Why don't you go and get some peanut butter?
That was a mistake, and we can't do that anymore.
Oh, you goddamn whore. You hush that up. You just stop teasing and start greasing.
Mr. Sex Ed was taped before a live studio audience. This is a Nailsin News Bulletin.
A Kentucky man brought his computer to some tech workers for help, but by doing so revealed that he had a cache of child's sexual abuse material. Hello, I'm Mr. Nailsin. Jack Hancock, that's right, Jack Hancock, 78, faces a slew of charges for possessing matter portraying sexual performances by a minor under the age of 12. According to the citation, he took his computer to the Best Buy on Shelbyville Road to move data to an external drive. It allegedly turned out that the data itself was a crime. Computer techs known at Best Buy as the Geek Squad were doing a peer review to make sure all the files were moved and witness what they thought was child sexual abuse material. So they called the cops. Upon further examination, hundreds of images of children under the age of 12 engaged in sex acts with adults was located. When officers executed a search warrant at Hancock's home in the city of Taylorsville, he was still engaging in the illicit behavior. They literally walked in on him. At the time of the search warrant, the suspect was actively downloading child sexual assault material onto his computer. Hancock allegedly admitted post-Miranda to knowingly having and viewing this material. Suspect further admitted to having over 300 images in his possession. Man, what an idiot, on top of being a disgusting sack of shit. But when the police executed the search warrant, they literally walked in on him in the act, I guess you could say they called old Hancock with his hand, well, yeah.
This has been a Nailsin News Bulletin.
Previously on the cruise.
So, let's go.
Don't come any closer, Mr. Hill, lest I be forced to defend myself with this.
Holy crap, Sam! That's the knife he used to kill Alva.
What?
Kill Alva?
That's ridiculous. I mean, how could you...
I watched him do it. I saw you do it.
You saw him do it, and you're just now telling us about this?
Well, I hadn't seen... I just saw it, and it was...
Yeah, but the time distortions of the storm.
The what?
Gentlemen obviously don't want me here, so the obvious solution is for me to make good on escaping aboard this lifeboat.
No, you can't let him get away.
No! Back! Oh, lost the boat.
Oh, damn it. I can't see him anywhere.
Job of wiping away those giant bugs.
Whoa, look at that. The wind is making the bugs smash giant bug guts all over the window. Oh, goodness me, Billy, come away from the window. Remember, those bugs can get eaten through window.
They're not eating nothing. They're the ones getting eaten by the storm. Well, just the same, Billy. Mimi's right. Let's keep our distance from the window until we're sure everything's safe. I get one moment of fun and you guys always spoil.
Heavens to Betsy, why are they sounding the horn?
That doesn't sound like our horn.
Whoa.
Hey, maybe we found that lighthouse again.
Oh, but I'm not seeing any. Oh my goodness. Is that another ship?
Sam, listen, buddy.
What?
Lance, get over here. You too, Crave.
Yeah, hey, Sam. What's going on?
We got a man overboard, Lance.
What?
It was Mac.
Oh,
shit. He fell when we were dealing with this asshole. Went down with the lifeboat, but I can't see him anywhere. I can't even see the boat.
Well, yeah, Sam, no one can, and not in this storm. There's really nothing we can do. Best hope for Mac is he made it into the lifeboat. This storm, I don't know how we recover him. If he can stay with us as we leave, maybe he's got a chance, but it doesn't look good.
Well, we gotta get the searchlights on, at least in the general area, until... Where the hell is that horn coming from?
Well, that's what we're coming to tell you, Sam. Turns out, we done been saved. There's another ship out there.
Another ship? The Coast Guard's here?
Not exactly, Sam. It appears to be another ocean liner.
Ocean liner?
It is steady a-coming. This nightmare's finally over.
Well, hopefully they'll change course a bit. I mean, if they keep on this course, they're gonna collide with us.
They know what they're doing. Come on. How come their horn sounds, kind of weird?
I don't know, but we can figure that out later. I'm gonna try to make contact with them. Approaching vessel. This is ocean liner Odysseus. We are in desperate need of aid. We have suffered severe injuries and loss of life. Our situation is desperate. Are you able to offer aid?
Did it go through?
Well, everything seems to be in working order. I'll try again. Approaching vessel. This is ocean liner Odysseus. We are in desperate need of aid. Please respond.
Oh, man, again with the horn. Maybe their communications are down? There's a storm after all.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, my God.
That didn't sound good.
Listening to The Cruise, written, performed, and produced by me, Douglas Nailsin. Any and all music is courtesy of Kevin MacLeod and other public domain and copyright-free sources. This is a Nailsin News Bulletin.
All pair charged in bizarre love triangle murder at Virginia family's home complains that she's tired of jail. Hello, I'm Mr. Nailsin. Yes, a 24-year-old Brazilian au pair charged in a brutal love triangle double slaying at a Virginia mansion whined to her mommy that she's tired of jail. I am tired of this place, this situation, said Juliana Perez Magalhaes in a recent email to her mother from Fairfax County Jail. I am unhappy, and nothing makes me happy, she said. I just want to get out of here and go back home to be with you guys. We will be together soon with God's grace, Mommy. The missive was the latest turn in a bizarre murder case that has captivated true crime buffs worldwide. Magalhaes, who prosecutors said was involved in a steamy affair with her 39-year-old employer, IRS investigator Brendan Banfield, is accused of fatally shooting fetish-seeking stranger Joseph Ryan as he allegedly stabbed Banfield's wife to death at the married couple's home, February 24th, 2023. Ryan was allegedly summoned to the $1 million home through a sexual fetish online site and was attacking a naked Christine Banfield when Magalhaes walked in with her lover, Christine's husband, Brendan. Brendan allegedly fired at and wounded Ryan, but it was the au pair who then unleashed the fatal shots at Brian after grabbing another gun stashed in the house. Magalhaes is claiming self-defense, but prosecutors allege that the entire episode was a ruse orchestrated by Magalhaes to get rid of Christine. They maintain that Ryan was a dupe, lured into the sordid plot. Investigators have not determined who created an account on the Sick Sex dating app allegedly linked to Christine under the name Anastasia 9, which lured Ryan to the house. Prosecutors also questioned the circumstances that had Magalhaes leave the house shortly after 7 a.m. for a day at the zoo with the Banfield's young child, only to return after allegedly forgetting their lunches. Brendan had left the house at 7:10 a.m. and waited in the parking lot of a nearby McDonald's until the au pair called him around 7:37 a.m. when she returned to the house. The two walked in together and shot Ryan. Prosecutors have questioned why Brendan didn't fire his service revolver until after Ryan was allegedly stabbing his wife, and are puzzled why Magalhaes then retrieved her own gun. The pair waited 10 minutes before calling 911. That is not what a person in that situation would do unless they were trying to cover something up, Deputy Commonwealth Attorney Kelsey Gill said at a court hearing. Brendan has not been charged and pleaded the fifth when questioned in court. No one has been accused of his wife's death. Magalhaes, who joined the Banfield household in 2021, remains charged only in Ryan's shooting death, while investigators continue to try to unravel the convoluted murder case. Her mother, Mariana Perez Souza, continues to maintain her daughter is innocent. She told reporters in Portuguese that Magalhaes, who she calls Little Rare Jewel, is not the one who should be behind bars. I pray for the prosecutors and the judge to understand who is guilty in this case, because it is not Juliana. Well, I can't imagine who she could think is the real culprit here. Yeah, it's the husband. She suspects the husband was in on the plot, but I hate to tell you, your little precious jewel was also in on it to get rid of Christine so she could take her place, you know. He was just trading in his wife for a new model. But then the hitman here. I mean, you can get a hitman from a sex site? Yeah, it's still weird, isn't it? Still weird. It's always going to be weird, even if it's ever fully explained. Yeah.
This has been a Nailsin News Bulletin. The views and opinions expressed during the Mr. Nailsin Show do not necessarily reflect those held by RadioMisfits.com. So, any complaints and or comments should be sent to @Mr. Nailsin on Twitter, where they will be promptly ignored and or blocked.
Down! Oh, what the hell? Ah, I see you've got a large sack. I'll take that if you don't mind.
No, keep your hands off.
Come on.
No, let me go. You.
Now, here we go. I'll take the sack.
Let me go, I said.
Nothing doing. We're going back to the cave.